Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punches!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig? Folks, today is Monday, November 20th, 2023. Coming up, Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. A huge decision by the 8th Circuit, a conservative circuit, saying that Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, they actually ruled that individuals and organizations cannot sue using Section 2 only the Department of Justice, which kind of makes no sense because that's actually what the 15th Amendment is all about. We'll talk with the head of the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law about that. Also, we'll talk with the Brennan Center. This could be the case that Clarence Thomas has been waiting for to completely get rid of the Voting Rights Act. So we'll talk about that impact on African Americans, because it was Section 2 that was used to make sure we got those new black congressional districts in Louisiana as well as Alabama. Also on today's show, the black Alabama Riverboat co-captain who was attacked, he is facing assault charges. He will join us right here on the show to talk about that. Also in HBCU, Virginia State, it's going to be the site of a 2024 presidential debate. Well, that's if Donald Trump actually agrees to any of those debates, if he is the nominee. So we'll talk about that. Also, Diabetes Awareness Month. We'll talk about that in our Fit, Live, Win segment. And also, a former Black Lives Matter local chapter leader says Donald Trump is the best choice for 2024, and he's done a lot for black people. Really? We'll discuss. It's time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered on Black Star Network. Let's go.
Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time, and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, roll, y'all. It's Roland Martin, yeah. Rolling with Roland now. He's funk, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now.
Folks, we're 1 year away from the 2024 presidential election. Donald Trump's leader of polls on the Republican side. President Joe Biden, of course, on the Democratic side, is likely to be a rematch from 2020 when Biden beat Trump. A co-founder of a Black Lives Matter chapter in Rhode Island says that Donald Trump has done more for black folks than any other president, and actually he is the choice. Mark Fisher is that individual. Mark joins us right now on the show. Mark, glad to have you here. So first and foremost, when you made an assessment about this campaign, and you basically said nobody is good.
That's right.
Okay, explain.
Well, I mean, it's self-explanatory. Everybody else sucks, I said, to quote myself. And, you know, when you look at who we have sitting in the White House right now, I said he's a deep disappointment. He's let me down. He's let my community down. The whole Democratic Party is a complete disappointment. And I think that as an independent, I will endorse Donald Trump as the best candidate that we have.
Why is he the best?
Well, because he's somebody who I would consider a strong man. I consider him somebody who would give us respect on the world stage.
You say we don't have respect on the world stage?
I feel like it's waning. I feel like
it's what?
I feel like it's when we have somebody like Joe Biden as the head of state representing us globally, I don't think it's the same as if it's Donald Trump representing us.
President Joe Biden was able to pull back the NATO coalition, which Donald Trump actually splintered during his 4 years. That played a role in terms of what we see happening with Ukraine and Russia. We have also seen, again, European leaders talk about his leadership. So explain that, because obviously international leaders except for the dictators, they had a totally different view of the foreign policy of the United States under Trump and Biden.
Well, fundamentally, they both come from a different perspective. When you look at somebody like Donald Trump, he's America first. Make America great again. Joe Biden is a globalist from a globalist camp.
How is Trump America make it great again when, if you look at Donald Trump, even before he got in, he's been doing business all across the country, doing Saudi Arabia, doing China, and all of his deals since he got out of the White House. So how is he a Make America First when that's not how he's operated in his business all of these years?
Okay, well, when you look at the persecution that he's facing, 91 felonies. 91.
So what, you say he should have been indicted?
That's not what I said. I said,
you call it persecution, so which means that he is being targeted. How is he being persecuted?
Well, Letitia James ran on getting Trump. That was her whole campaign motto. We're going to get Trump. Am I wrong?
The judge in New York has already ruled against them that they actually were inflating the value of their property.
Okay.
Now the trial is going on. No, but you said he's being persecuted. How is he being persecuted? Is he being persecuted in Georgia where 3 of his attorneys, they actually have already pled guilty in that particular case for their role in the 2020 presidential election in Georgia?
Yes, they did. They pled guilty.
Right. So how's he being persecuted, though?
Because they're trying to use them to get him.
No. How is he being persecuted? Did he not, based upon, according to District Attorney Fonnie Willis, that Donald Trump tried to get officials in Georgia to, frankly, change the results of the election?
Look, I could get you to jump off a bridge or to try to jump off a bridge. And if you jump off a bridge, am I responsible?
Okay, you do know he's on tape calling the Secretary of State saying, find me 11,000 votes. He tried to pressure the governor, the Secretary of State, the head of the elections. So that's just one particular case as well. In the documents case, they asked him to return the documents. He refused to do so. He lied to his own attorneys about that. He told one of his employees, who is now flipped, do not move those documents. So I'm trying to understand, say he's being persecuted. If an individual committed acts, that's on them. So how is he being persecuted?
Because they're trying to use them to get him.
No, not them. I'm asking you again. If the federal government, if they say these are classified documents, you are to return them, he says no. And they say, we have a subpoena. He ignores the subpoena. When he tells his attorneys took actual notes.
Okay, well, hold on.
No. You
Hold on.
said it's being persecuted.
Wait a minute.
And that's just 2 cases.
91 felonies. You can't even keep up with all the felonies. You can't even track all the cases across the country.
Actually, you can't.
And the charges that he's facing. You have to take them one at a time. There's so many. They're coming fast and furious.
Actually, we can track them. But again, though, if an individual believes that he is above the law and he's not, if he committed crimes, then he should be prosecuted. Yes or no?
Nobody's above the law. That's not the question. The question is, did he commit crimes?
Well, first of all, that's why they're trials.
That's the question.
Well, first of all, that's why they're trials.
Right, exactly. So, but when you talk about somebody who's acting on their constitutional right.
What constitutional right?
Freedom of speech.
Is there a constitutional right to overthrow an election?
He believes, and as many do, that there was some suspect activity involved in the 2020 election.
How many lawsuits did his campaign file, and how many did they win?
So, but what I'm saying,
asking you a question.
I don't know. What I'm saying
I can give the answer. More than 60 lawsuits were filed. They lost them. Courts, Trump judges, Republican governors, Republican Secretary of States certified the election results. Now, here's the question. I'm confused. If there was election irregularities in Georgia, how did the Republican governor win? The Republican lieutenant governor, the Republican Secretary of State. How did Republicans win all statewide offices in Georgia in 2020, but this one race, there were problems?
I'm going to tell you.
How?
Because they're all part of the same deep state.
Dude,
corrupted.
I'm confused. I'm confused.
Let me finish?
Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, endorsed Trump, correct or not?
They're all part.
I'm asking you a question. Did the Republican governor, Brian Kemp, endorse Trump?
I don't know.
Yes, he did. Did the Republican lieutenant governor endorse Trump?
I don't know.
Did the Republican Secretary of State endorse Trump? Yes. So again, I'm confused here. All of these Republicans endorsed Donald Trump, yet all these Republicans won. He didn't. He's saying, oh, it's fraud.
So, like I said, when you look at the government, both parties.
Hold on, no. See, again,
Democrat and Republican.
You mentioned persecution, and there were 4 cases. You mentioned
especially the Democratic Party.
You mentioned 91 indictments.
It's a smorgasbord of BS.
You still, but hold up. You say let's take it case by case.
Suspect behavior and activity.
I'm taking it
case by case. Both parties.
No, I'm taking it.
And he's anti-institution.
Mark, you say
that's the problem that people have with him. That's the problem James has with him. That's the problem Bragg has with him. That's the problem Smith has with him. And that's the problem Willis has with him. That he is anti everything they love.
No, he's not.
Institution.
No, he's not.
They're very comfortable, right? And rightfully so. I'm not here to bash them or hate on them. God bless them. I love them.
But what you're doing is making stuff up.
What am I?
So again, no. You say out of your mouth he was being persecuted. You mentioned the 91 indictments. You mentioned the 4 different cases. I walk you through 2 of those. The judge has already ruled that Donald Trump and his Trump organization absolutely inflated their assets, which is against the law. Donald Trump's own accountants testified that they actually inflated. He even inflated the size of his own penthouse.
I just don't understand how people can't think for themselves. You got all these zombies walking around. You're telling me you got all these people walking that can't think for themselves, doing whatever's in their best interest for their own expedience and their careers. But every time it happens, it comes back to Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Throw him in prison. Take all his assets. Throw him under the bus. Take him off the ballots. Like. You don't think people can see this? So what you're saying is
this
is anti-American.
What you're saying is actually no, because there's a sign above the Supreme Court. It says equal justice under law. What you're saying is you don't mind a liar. What you're saying is you don't mind somebody making.
What did he lie about?
Donald Trump lied about the value of his assets. Donald Trump has lied about not trying to overturn.
Can I say something?
Mark, I'm not done.
On that point, I just want to say, because you said he lied about the value of his assets. You're saying that he lied, his people are lying for him all the time. So what I'm saying is, if he's asking for 11,000 votes, if they're doing that, if he's asking people to make his property as lucrative and as attractive as possible, and these people are doing it, right? They're doing it. Whether they're doing it or not, that is their own personal business and choice to do that. If he says, I'm looking for 11,000 votes, I know people who have reached out to me, black people, who tell me that there has been all kind of fishy business going on.
And Mark,
double voting, triple, quadruple,
and you're right
quintuple voting. No, I can tell you, people are reaching out to me, telling me they can call him Bill, William, Willis, so on and so on. And the Democratic elected.
So you say,
oversight.
Oh my God, I see double voting.
That's what people are telling me.
But the Republicans in Georgia.
So I'm just saying.
Mark, wait a minute, Mark.
There's reason.
I'm going to finish, Mark.
There's reasonable doubt.
I'm going to finish. No, it's not. No, it's
That's
not.
all I'm saying.
When you have...
And you can't blame him for that. That's protected under our First Amendment right.
Are you literally making this up as you go along?
We don't have protected rights.
You do know.
We don't have the right,
Mark,
freedom of speech.
You do know.
We don't have the right to access the courts. We don't have the right to keep ourselves quiet.
You cannot seize ballots.
We don't have the right
to cannot seize voting
not be sieged insurgent, to not be violent. We have rights in this country. And that's one of them, to speak our mind. Assembly.
Mark,
we have these rights.
Speaking your mind and lying. Aren't you a pastor?
I have a background in theology.
Okay, you got a what in theology?
A background in theology.
A background in theology.
Mm-hmm. I've never been a pastor.
Okay,
I preached.
I
taught Bible
just
study.
asked a question. Yeah. Okay, fine. So does the Bible,
I have a degree in theology.
that you actually read, what does it say about lying?
It said all lies will find their place in the pit of hell with fornicators, homosexuals, liars, and all ungodly form.
Well, that must mean Donald Trump is sitting on a throne in hell, because that man has just lied about numerous things.
Well, listen.
But hold up. I'm gonna ask you this question. You said that Trump has done more for the black community than any president. What has he done?
He's done a lot.
Name it.
Actually.
Name it.
And I'm surprised that most people don't really know.
No, I'm asking you to name it.
Okay.
Name it.
I'm going to. For starters, because this is important as an educated man, and $250 million annually has been allocated to HBCUs, which is big because I went to Hampton. No, it's not a lie. No, it's not a lie.
Stop. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry.
And minority serving schools.
I'm sorry.
But it's all together. It's for people of color.
Let me ask you a question, Mark.
90 million of it went to black schools.
Mark,
and not only that,
Mark, let me ask you a question.
It was about to be expired. He took the initiative to not let it expire.
You're wrong.
And not only that,
Mark, you're wrong.
Give it a 10-year stay where it was being done
Mark,
every year. He said, why do we have to keep coming back every year to get money?
Mark, what you just said right now is a lie.
Where am I wrong?
Let me prove you.
Prove me wrong.
The program that you're talking about started under President George W. Bush.
The president and CEO of the United Negro Fund thanked him publicly.
Will you please listen? See, again, no. See, when you're operating in an alternative world, I'm giving you for real facts. Let me say it again.
He did not thank him publicly.
Mark, listen.
The United
Mark,
Negro Fund president and CEO, Mr. Lomax, did not thank him publicly.
The program you're speaking of started under President George W. Bush. It continued under President Barack Obama. It expired. What you do not know is that Donald Trump zeroed that program out of his budget. It was Congressman Alman Adams of North Carolina who put it back in the budget. She was the co-chair of the Congressional HBCU caucus. Then it went to the United States Senate. Donald Trump, let me tell you again, Mark.
Signed off on it.
No, he did not sign off on it. Again, Donald Trump's budget, which he submitted to Congress, removed the money. Congress put it back in, led by Alma Adams. Now, do you know who broke that thing down? A gentleman named Walter Kimbrough. Do you know who Walter Kimbrough is? Two-time HBCU president who detailed it, who was actually in that meeting in the local office when Trump was there. So what you're sitting on, you're saying, oh, $250 million. Let me ask you this question. How much money have HBCUs gotten in the last 3 years from the Biden-Harris administration?
I don't know, but I never paid $10 for eggs or $5 for gas.
What school did you say you went to?
I never paid $10 for eggs or $5 for gas.
Mark, don't try to change the subject.
No, I'm just telling you. You're talking about the economy. Under Trump, it was booming.
Mark, I'm asking you again.
And black unemployment was at a historic all-time low.
HBCUs.
You want to talk about numbers?
We're going to stay on HBCUs. What school you went to again?
I went to Hampton for a year.
Oh, you went to Hampton.
And then I went to North Point Bible College in Haverhill, Mass.
So let me ask you this question, Mark. You said Trump allocated $250 million to black and Hispanic serving institutions. About 90.
You're reading it.
No. I don't have to read because I got it up here. You say about 90 million of that went to HBCUs, right? That's what you say, correct?
That's correct.
Mark,
that is the recognized information.
Mark, are you
consensus
aware?
information.
Are you aware in the last 3 years under Biden-Harris, $6.5 billion has gone to HBCUs, not Hispanic serving institutions, HBCUs, $6.5 billion. So you held up $90 million under Trump and $6.5 billion under Biden-Harris, but you say Trump is better for HBCUs?
You're telling me.
Do you need the proof?
You're telling me Joe Biden.
Do you want the proof?
Gave $6.5 billion.
I'm sorry. Do you want the proof?
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Okay, here's the deal.
To HBCUs.
Oh, no, yes.
And when he can't even.
Hold up.
He can't even put together a reparations commission. Why would he do that?
And a matter of fact.
He's such a flip-flopper.
Hold up, wait.
He's such a vacillator.
Oh, here we go. You went to Hampton,
He's such a liar.
You went to Hampton, right?
He's such a duplicitous.
Did you go to Hampton?
Did
you go to Hampton?
That's why he picked the vice president he picked.
Did you go to Hampton?
He could have picked anybody else.
Did you go to Hampton?
Because they're both just as duplicitous.
Did you go to Hampton? You said you went to Hampton, right?
Two peas in a pod.
You went to Hampton, right?
She's Indian.
You went to Hampton, right?
HBCU
you went
tours.
to Hampton, didn't
but
you?
during the tour, she's all Wakanda forever.
See, Mark, see what you're doing. See,
what am I doing?
This is why you love Trump. Because you're doing the same nonsense he do. You bring up something, then you switch topics.
You told me you was going to show me. I said I'd love to see it.
Mark, I'm walking you through it.
I'm waiting, bro.
I told you point blank. Hampton University, I'm going to tell you how much Hampton actually got. Hampton University, $48.7 billion under Cap 1, $4.2 under CARES Act, $9.8 under CARES Act.
Wait. You're telling me when did this happen?
$12 million.
When?
No, hold on. American Rescue Plan, $12 million.
Who?
Last 3 years.
And to what extent?
American Rescue Plan 2, $21. Your university.
You're reading numbers.
Wait.
What is that? What source is that?
Department of Education.
Okay. And when did this happen?
The last 3 years.
The last 3 years, each year.
Each year.
Okay.
The total amount that your university.
Okay, but you're telling me that still doesn't equate to 10 years.
Mark, listen.
$95 million.
Mark, that's a lie.
How is that?
Your own university, Hampton, received $112 million alone. The total amount
that went to over the last 3 years.
The total amount that went to HBCUs
you saying over the last
$6 billion.
Over the last 3
$567 million.
You saying Hampton got how much?
$112 million.
Over how long? What type?
In the last 3 years. And I named them. Let me name again. So
you're saying
hold up. Cap 1 forgiveness.
40.
Hold up. No, I want you to listen. I want you to listen because see right now you ain't listening. Cap 1 forgiveness. CARES Act. CARES Act 2. Then you have American Rescue Plan, American Rescue Plan 2. Your own university got more by itself than Donald Trump signed the bill for all HBCUs.
Okay, but the CARES Act is expired. The act is over. He did a 10-year plan.
No, he didn't.
CARES is done.
It wasn't even him. It was Alma Adams. Okay, so fine, HBC. What else has he done for black people? What else?
First Step Act, for those who ain't educated, for the non-bourgeoisie class, for those who gotta deal with recidivism and the oppressive tentacles and tenets
Who passed
of
that bill?
Institutions
Who passed that bill?
that crush us on
Who
a
passed
daily
that bill?
basis.
Who passed that bill?
I know who signed it.
No.
I know who signed
wait,
it.
hold on.
Why are you asking me questions?
Hey, Mark, Ronald Reagan signed the
Do you know
MLK
what
federal
this
holiday
bill
and
does?
opposed it.
Do you know what the bill does? Do you know what the first
Mark,
step?
I'm
Because
asking
you're
you
really being
again.
defensive. You asked me.
Did the
name
first
another
kid-
thing.
did the First Step
right.
Act
And then
pass-
as soon as I mentioned it, you getting defensive.
No.
Roland.
I'm explaining to you who passed it. Who passed the First Step Act in the House? Who was the co-author?
Bro.
Who was the co-author?
Asked me what did Donald Trump
No,
do.
Mark. But Donald
I'm prepared
Trump,
to answer
Donald
what Donald Trump
didn't
did,
pass the
not what the
First
House
Step
members
Act.
did. I don't care about the House members.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. So help me
care
out
about
here.
the Senate. I don't care about Mitch
confused.
McConnell.
I'm confused. So you don't
He's
care.
not running for president.
I'm confused. You don't care about the people who actually wrote the bill.
No.
You don't care. I'm sorry.
No, because
you
want to know why? Because the George Floyd Policing Act is still languishing.
Why?
And because they are a freaking gridlock in Washington.
That's
why.
Who was that?
They don't do nothing.
Who passed the George
they
Floyd?
Get nothing
Who
done.
passed the George Floyd Act?
Obama had to sign all kind of orders
Who
to get
passed
stuff
the
done.
George Floyd Act?
By the way, speaking
Who
of
passed the George
the
Floyd
Democratic
Act?
Party,
Who passed the George Floyd Act?
the obsolete, antiquated Democratic Party.
So Democrats passed it in the House, and Senator Tim Scott and Lindsey Graham could not get 8 Republicans on board to go along with it, and that's why it's dead.
Okay, but it's dead, right? In Congress.
Because the Republican Party.
But you're asking me why don't I care about Congress, and I'm telling you why.
Hold on, I'm scared. Hold up. But how can you say you don't care about Congress, but you're giving Trump credit for bills that Congress passes?
Okay, I'm giving Trump credit for bills.
How? He didn't pass them.
Get passed.
He didn't. Wait, hold up.
Or
Mark, I'm confused.
Yes.
You don't care about Congress,
right?
But you giving Trump credit for bills that Congress passed,
right? Exactly.
So how can you ignore the people who passed the bills for him to sign?
Okay, and so that's my point. Because in order to get Congress to sign off on the bill, right, which is constantly in gridlock, you have to have somebody who knows how to make a deal.
And he couldn't make no deal.
Who's a negotiator. Who makes things.
This is hilarious. Okay, what else he did black people?
Other than that, what does Congress do? Nothing.
Since you said 2 things, what else he done for black people? What else?
Okay, we have the, like I said, black unemployment was at a historic low.
Actually, black unemployment fell lower under Biden than Trump.
Well,
you also know that black male unemployment hit its lowest point in April under Biden than it did in history.
Okay, well, I can tell you it was.
No, I'm just telling you.
No, I can tell you it was lower than it was under Obama. And that's no shot at Obama.
I'm confused. Obama not on the ballot. Again, the black unemployment rate.
Right, because we love to praise Obama.
Mark, I didn't bring up Obama.
No,
You did.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. We got to keep it real. We got to stop operating from emotion, and we got to stop operating from intelligence and logic. That's all I'm saying.
If we're
going to compete with the rest of the world.
Mark, the total unemployment rate has been lower under Biden than Trump. The black unemployment rate has been lower under Biden than Trump. So how was Trump better for black people?
So like I said.
What else?
Compared to his predecessor.
What else?
Okay, what else? Okay, so other than the HBCU 10-year bill expansion.
Okay, but again, though.
The First Step Act, which reduced the federal prison population. You didn't want to let me get that out, did you?
That Democrats passed in the House. The Democrats improved in the Senate.
And that Donald Trump signed off on.
Wait a minute. Mark, you do know that Reagan opposed the King holiday.
And
it ain't like we crediting Reagan for the King holiday.
Unemployment at a historic low.
Mark,
like I said, the economy was booming. You asked a lot of black people, they tell you they was doing good under Trump.
I'm still
confused. They tell you they was doing real good. And like I said, I wasn't paying $10 for eggs and $5 for gas.
First of all, if the black unemployment is lower under Biden than it was under Trump, how was it better?
Say that again?
The black unemployment has gone lower under Biden-Harris than it did under Trump.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, because you know why? Because black people are the most intelligent people in the world, man to man. And they had to, like we always do.
What in the hell are you talking about?
I'm going to explain to you. They have to pull themselves up by the bootstrap and make shit happen. You heard of the Great Migration? You know what that is?
Yeah. Who led it?
Okay. The black
Who led it?
The blacks who said, screw this.
No, actually, that's not. Actually, there's a guy on the wall who ran the Chicago Defender.
Let me finish. And you want to know what assisted that? You ever heard of The platinum plan, do you know what that is?
Wait a minute. You go. What? Hold on. Stop.
No.
Stop.
Let me finish.
Hold up.
No. Just let me finish.
The Trump platinum plan
Do you know what
created
that is?
the Great Migration?
No. What I'm saying is,
I'm confused.
I didn't say that.
The
I said
Great
black
Migration
people
was in
did
the
that.
1930s and 40s.
No. Excuse me. I meant the Great Resignation. I apologize. When all black people in droves was like, screw this.
What? The platinum plan. What was the platinum plan?
Okay, so the platinum plan.
What was that?
It increased income in black businesses.
No, it didn't.
And
the platinum plan was a proposal. It never actually got enacted.
What I'm saying is added capital to the black entrepreneur.
No, it didn't.
And
it didn't.
Also promoted and touted Juneteenth as a national holiday. So
Juneteenth
was part of the platinum plan.
Are you out of your mind? Juneteenth would have been a national holiday if Senator Rand Paul did not object to unanimous consent. Oh my God! Are you just sitting here just making shit up?
You're asking me about Trump.
No, you're making stuff up.
Questions, and now you're throwing in Rand Paul and Joe
I'm throwing in
Joe
facts. I'm throwing
You're
in
asking me questions and I'm answering them.
No, you're not answering. What you're doing is you're doing what Trump is doing. You're just making shit up.
So there's no
dude, the platinum plan was a plan. It was never enacted.
Exactly. I know.
And he also said.
I know that.
Trump said,
you know why it wasn't enacted?
Why?
Because of the black drove of people who went and got this guy elected.
No, actually,
the droves of blacks who were stuck
first of all,
on
the
Democratic
Party. The plan was a joke because
to get this guy elected.
The plan was a joke because it specifically said it was going to do what? $500 billion in contracts? Let me ask you this question. How much the total amount of contracts the federal government gives out every year? Okay, so Mark, I'm asking you a question. What's the total amount of contracts the federal government gives out every year?
I don't know.
It's $560 billion. So you trying to tell me that the total amount of contracts the federal government awards every year to everybody is $560 billion, and Trump was going to award $500 billion of black people? Are you literally out of your mind?
So, like I was saying.
Answer the question.
Now, opportunity zones.
Oh my God.
Also, a low-income community incentivized plan. That
I call the Trump White House. Nice try, Mark. I call the Trump White House.
It was proposed to revitalize the inner cities by giving business owners, developers, and property owners.
And guess what, Mark? I had a pastor.
Tax breaks.
Mark, let me help you out.
Capital gains.
Let me help you out, Mark.
To pump life into our dead economies and cities.
I don't know what the hell you read.
No.
But, bruh,
that's what it is.
You are literally.
That's what opportunity zones is, Roland.
Mark, this ain't gonna go on much longer. Because right now, dude, you just making shit up. I literally.
Did he not sign into law?
Mark, listen.
The first and only new historic park in Martin Luther King Jr.'s name in Georgia.
Are you out of your?
Okay, so then.
Oh my God.
He did not sign into law and create a new historic park in Georgia in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. He didn't do that, Roland.
You literally say, let's support Trump because a park was created?
No. You're asking me. No, see, this is the problem. No.
I noticed how you skipped over that platinum plan.
This is the problem.
Mark, I noticed how you skipped over those contracts.
The narratives that people believe and buy into instead of creating their own narratives.
I noticed
that's
how
what
you
I'm doing.
Skipped over the
I'm creating a narrative.
No, actually,
like I did with myself.
What you're creating.
Because I no longer choose to be defined by you, by the news, by print, by media, or by my neighbor. Okay. I define myself.
Mark, here's the deal. Everything you just laid out. When I say you are so wrong, when I say you're factually wrong, when I say you can't, and then when you get hit with facts, you want to hopscotch on to the next thing. I brought up contracts, and I gave you the number of federal contracts. Trump said, I'm going to do $500 billion with black people. It's only $560 billion total in federal contracts. That was a flat-out lie. You fell for the okie doke. And so I walk you through. You're touting this $90 million HBCU plan.
He said he's going to do. He said what? He's going to do $500 billion.
That was the platinum plan. Mm-hmm. He was going to do $500 billion to black businesses when the federal government only spends $560 billion total for everything. So how in the hell is, if the federal government is spending $560 billion total, he just going to go, I'm going to give $500 billion to black people?
I can tell you what, I didn't hear that. I never heard. I'm not.
You didn't hear it?
No, listen. I didn't hear him say I'm going to, because.
It's in the plan.
Okay.
The plan that you brought up. The platinum plan.
Now, if he said that he's going to give $580 billion.
No, he says $500 billion.
$500 billion to invest in black people, right?
Where's it coming from?
That's a good question.
You damn right it's a good question.
And now, like,
and it ain't coming from the federal government.
What I'm saying is, like, with a lot of things,
he made shit up.
I can't speak for him. I can't
No.
speak for
Now you can't speak for him.
No, I can't. I can't speak for him.
Oh my God.
I can't speak for you.
Okay,
I
Mark,
can tell you based on facts, what I know, experience,
you literally
what I read and see,
have not recited any facts.
And historical sources, empirical evidence, what
you
the facts are. That's what I can do. I can't speak for him.
Mark, I feel for you, brother. I know you've gone down some rabbit holes, but listen, you ain't cited any facts. You haven't cited any of that. What you've thrown is stuff out there that's easily disproven. Easily.
Let me say something, Roland.
Okay, final comment. Because I got to go to my black lawyers next. Because we're fighting these Trump federal judges who want to get rid of the Voting Rights Act. But go ahead.
It's important to understand that, most importantly...
Oh, my bad. My bad. I need to put on some Marvin Gaye because this is some bullshit. Go right ahead.
Most importantly, we're trying to pivot off of the Democratic plantation. We're trying to make a pivot from this hold.
How about you pivot to facts?
This hold.
How about you pivot to facts?
That this party has on my people.
How about you pivot to facts?
That's so destructive to my people and my community.
Pivot to facts?
That's what I pivot to.
You literally.
Now, Trump is the alternative.
No, he's not.
I support him.
Dude, you literally called the January 6 people dissenters when they were domestic terrorists.
I said what? Say that again?
You have been quoted as calling the January 6 folks dissenters when they actually are domestic terrorists.
Well, listen.
You support them?
I stand in solidarity with any American brother or sister, like I said from the very beginning.
You stand in solidarity with the Oath Keepers?
That's going through hard times.
Do you stand in solidarity with the Oath Keepers? Mark,
that's because I don't take no pleasure in any American brother.
Mark,
this is the thing.
I'm asking you a question.
I know how people feel.
Do you stand in solidarity with the Oath Keepers?
Listen,
yes or no?
I have empathy for black people, right? Because how do you think I feel in my community? I have been castigated throughout my community and family and friends. So here's the thing. But I know how they feel. I understand.
Mark,
and guess what? Because they hate Trump. But guess what? There's no future in that. There's no future in that. I know how you feel.
No, ain't no future in this country if that lying, narcissistic insurrectionist is allowed back in. You literally have called the January 6 people dissenters. These are people who were domestic terrorists. These are people who were angry that black people voted. Donald Trump kept trashing black people when he would say Atlanta, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, and Detroit. You had a Republican. I'm not done.
You're making such a broad stroke.
No, I'm not.
It's like they did at BLM in the summer of love.
No.
Every BLM supporter is a rioter and a looter and an anarchist.
Okay.
It's the same thing.
So you think the people who've been convicted, they should be let free?
No, I think that there's a justice system, and I think they're going through the courts like all my people had to.
System.
Like all my people had to. Doesn't make it right or moral.
There's a justice system.
I believe it was a setup. I believe it could have been stopped. It could have been prevented.
It was a setup.
Of course. You think we would have got that far?
So January 6th was a setup.
Of course it was.
Okay.
They could have stopped that like that. That could have never happened. But why? It wasn't a good look.
Well,
for them
guess
to
what?
stop
You
it.
couldn't stop it when Donald Trump wouldn't allow the National Guard to become
So now they're handing out cases like Halloween candy, and you don't see a problem with that. You get 20, you get 20, you get 20. Okay,
let me
you guys,
be real clear.
okay, you stay in your comfortable,
Mark, I'm going to be on record. I got
zones.
no problem with the racist Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys going to jail. Yep, there you go, trying to change something. All right.
No. Hey, listen. Like I said, I take no pleasure in any suffering.
Mark, last point here.
Period.
Is I got some lawyers waiting. Here's the whole deal. I'm going to give this last one, since you keep yelling opportunity zones. The black pastor.
No, I'm saying that people. I'm saying that the bourgeois class.
Mark, I want you to listen.
That's so comfortable.
No, I want you to listen.
They don't want to see anything change, even if that means shitting on the average black person.
Let me say it again.
They don't want to see it happen because that messes with their comfort.
I'm gonna give you a fact.
That's why I have a problem with.
I'm gonna give you a fact.
My own people.
Mark, I'm gonna give you a fact.
Gave me no support when I started my organization. I didn't get an iota of support from them.
Mark, you in Rhode Island. It's
for the same people I'm fighting for. It doesn't matter if it's one.
Is Jeffrey?
That's not even the point.
Listen, we
for the same people I'm fighting for.
Mark,
I come here And all the black people tell me you need to drop BLM.
No.
Because you know what? They're doing too well here.
When you come here,
they can't relate to that.
When you come
they
here,
can't understand what the plight is of black people outside of the DMV.
Mark,
so they tell me drop that.
Mark, when you come
I say,
here,
no, guess
we
what?
deal in facts.
Now I say I support, all people are suffering. Oh, now they don't want to have Thanksgiving with me. Now they want to castigate me and offend me. So, okay, you know what?
This is what I find to be funny.
That's what I'm dealing with in my community.
This is what I find to be funny.
But I still love my people anyway.
This is what I find to be funny. I'm going to leave it on this one here. You kept mentioning.
I love them anyway, Roland.
You kept mentioning.
I still go to war.
Mark,
I still go to bat for
I'm going to close this out.
Because black is beautiful.
I'm going to close this out. You kept mentioning opportunity zones. The black pastor from Baltimore who spoke with Trump at the White House when that was announced came on this show that night. 6 months later, he came on this same show and he said it has been an abysmal failure.
What pastor?
The black pastor from Baltimore who spoke. Go look it up.
What's his name?
He was on this show.
What's his
name? You can go pull it up.
I'm asking you, what's his name?
Mark, I'll pull his name up, but it's real simple, brother.
Please.
It's real simple.
I want to know who you're
talking about. It's real simple. If you're gonna run around spouting stuff, bruh, have some facts. Double check some stuff.
Can I tell you something?
Your stuff is so easily disproven.
This is what
it's unbelievable.
Let me 30
seconds.
Let me drop some knowledge real quick.
You ain't dropped no knowledge.
I'm gonna drop some knowledge on you.
What you gonna drop?
This is what y'all don't understand. People don't care about the facts. You know what they care about? Perception. Because that's 9/10 of reality.
And guess what?
This is what I'm trying to explain. You're so concerned with the facts.
Wow.
I'm concerned with the narrative.
I'm so concerned with the facts.
That's right.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not saying don't be concerned, but don't be overly concerned with them.
Hold on,
because while you're so concerned and beating up on the facts, guess what? People are leaving in droves and they're disavowing the Democrats and they're endorsing Donald Trump right under your nose.
So what you're saying is, Roland, don't tell the truth. Be like Trump and lie. Okay.
Right under your nose.
All right. That's a good one to close out on. Mark, we'll see what happens, but I can tell you right now, anytime somebody come on this show, lies will be countered every time. Facts will always be spoken, and you can keep your Trump perception, but I don't live in perception or conspiracy land. I live in what's factual. We'll be right back on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Hatred on the streets, a horrific scene, a white nationalist rally that descended into deadly violence.
White people are losing their damn minds.
An angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol.
We're about to see the rise of what I call white minority resistance. We have seen white folks in this country who simply cannot tolerate black folks voting.
I think what we're seeing is the inevitable result of violent denial.
This is part of American history. Every time that people of color have made progress, whether real or symbolic, there has been what Carol Anderson at Emory University calls white rage as a backlash.
This is the rise of the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. America, there's going to be more of this.
Here's all the Proud Boys, guys.
This country is getting increasingly racist in its behaviors and its attitudes because of the fear of white people.
The fear that they're taking our jobs, they're taking our resources, they're taking our women. This is white fear.
On the next Get Wealthy with me, Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, inflation is on the rise. Interest rates are high. Can you still thrive during these uncertain times? On the next Get Wealthy, you're gonna meet a woman who's done just that, living proof of what you need to do to flourish during these uncertain times.
These are times where you take advantage of what's going on. This is how people get rich or richer.
That's right here on Get Wealthy, only on Black Star Network.
Hey, what's up? Geek Tony in the place to be. Got Kicked Out Your Mama's University, creator and executive producer of Fat Tuesdays, an air hip-hop comedy. But right now, I'm rolling with Roland Martin, unfiltered, uncut, unplugged, and undamn believable. You hear me?
All right, folks, conservatives, Republicans have been doing all they can to get rid of the Voting Rights Act because they do not like black power. Well, the 8th Circuit today issued a ruling that is unbelievably illogical. They actually ruled that only the Department of Justice can file lawsuits using Section 2, not individuals, not organizations. Do y'all realize the DOJ has filed less than 20 cases, but outside groups have filed nearly 200 in the last several years? Let's break this thing down right here, folks, with my panelists. Kareem Crayton, Senior Director of Voting Representation at the Brennan Center for Justice at NYU Law School. Damon Hewitt, President and Executive Director of the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law. Damon, I want to start with you. This was a 2-1 vote by a 3-judge panel. Clarence Thomas has been wanting to get rid of the Voting Rights Act. Republicans have been targeting Section 2, and it's under Section 2 we've been able to get those congressional districts in Louisiana, in Alabama. What do you make of this decision?
Well, Roland, it's a classic case of a right without a remedy is no right at all. That's essentially a translation. This is not a new play, this notion of this so-called lack of a private right of action. You know, for the last 22 years, we've been living with this under Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, where the Supreme Court determined that under Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, which of course prohibits entities that receive federal funds from discriminating based on race, that there's no private right of action there as well. And so the irony is really like patent. The same court, the same people that told us, oh, it doesn't matter that we gutted the heart of the VRA with Section 5 in Shelby County v. Holder in 2013, you still have Section 2. Now, Roland, we've known all along that Section 2 cases are more expensive, more fact-intensive, more time-intensive, and sometimes when you win a Section 2 case, bad things have already happened, just like in Alabama, right? A whole election has gone by. But now they're telling us Section 2, forget about that as well. This is the play, and this is evil at work, quite frankly.
That's exactly what it is, Kareem. And again, there are people out here, and I've been doing what I call Civics 101 on social media because a lot of our people don't quite understand what conservative Republicans do. They file cases hoping they're going to make their way through the court system and get to the Supreme Court, where they have 6 conservative justices on the Supreme Court, and all they're hoping for is for 5 of them to side with them that would invalidate Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. And if that happens, Section 4 has already been gutted. You gut Section 2. Oh, the attack on black people is going to be all over the country.
I can't question anything you said there. Section 2 has traditionally been viewed as the sword that plaintiffs have to go and defend and vindicate their right to vote. As Damon mentioned earlier, it's been really an opportunity that has worked in really episodic ways, not as perfectly as we'd like it to, but it has worked. And I think that there are people out there now who want to get rid of it. And the court told us in 2013, as Damon said, look, we've got Section 2 of the Act still on the books that will allow plaintiffs to go in and sue. And that's really the world that has existed since 1965, when Congress observed the fact that the DOJ wasn't sufficient to vindicate the right to vote throughout the country, and therefore created this statute. So all of the Congresses that adopted the act, all of the presidents that signed it, all the Supreme Court majorities that upheld the act would be shocked to hear that all of a sudden this question now is a live one.
Damon, the thing that, get people to understand how major this is. And I keep trying to explain to people why federal judges matter. We're not talking just about congressional races. We're talking congressional races, state races, county districts, city, down to county commissioners. We just had the courts rule in favor in a case in Galveston, Texas, where they redrew the lines when it came to county commissioners. We're talking about the representation of black people and others up and down the ballot all across the country, especially in the South.
That's exactly right. There's levels of bad here. So when you think about Bush v. Gore after the 2000 election, where the Supreme Court essentially helped determine who would become president, you think about congressional races. But then you think also about the races at the state level, the local level. Think about all of the things that we've gained. The Milligan case in Alabama, which was a win, that would not have been possible based on this ruling. Louisiana getting another black congressional district, that would not be possible under this ruling. The Congressional Black Caucus is the largest it has ever been in this Congress. That would not likely have been possible because we know some of those districts were created because of the Voting Rights Act, because of enforcement of the Voting Rights Act, not just by DOJ, but by private litigants. What they're saying is you people, black people, don't have rights that this court cognizes. It kind of rings, I know it sounds hyperbolic, but it sounds like Dred Scott. No rights which they are bound to respect. That's what it feels like in the sting of today.
Kareem, again, we hope the courts will use some sense. The decisions they have recently made with regards to Section 2 in the Louisiana case and the Alabama case have been positive. But as I said, all they need are 5 votes. And what people need to understand, when one of these circuit courts or lower courts makes one of these decisions, it literally can imperil, again, the entire law. And once that happens, now all of a sudden, we're going back to, frankly, all the battles from, frankly, the 40s through the 50s through the 60s just to get the Voting Rights Act.
That's right. And it's important to know that as of today, this decision applies to all of the states in the 8th Circuit, which goes from as far north as North Dakota and Minnesota down through Arkansas and Missouri. And these are places where there are a lot of people of color bringing claims. I would say also it's important to know that as we're talking about it, there are a lot of cases out there that are pending. There's a case just today that Native American groups won under Section 2 in North Dakota that now people have to ask, do we have still a live win? We may win, but we may have to now fight this question about a private right of action. But I think your point about the disrespect, and that's how I look at it, for all of the accomplishments of lawyers like the Lawyers Committee, like Legal Defense Fund, that have gone in and followed through on the call that Congress made as early as 1965 to make sure that in each one of these jurisdictions that are not paying fair attention to the right to vote, particularly for people of color, that there is vindication for that violation. And it's important to know that, in addition to redistricting, which obviously has a huge impact on opportunity, there are a lot of suppression laws, access to ballots, making sure that people actually count votes appropriately. All of these things that make sure that the elections run the way that they're supposed to run and don't unfairly disadvantage people of color. We're on the precipice of a 2024 election. All of those things are subject to review under Section 2 right now, and they're usually brought, as we've said earlier, by private plaintiffs. So if we cut out the opportunity for private plaintiffs to go and sue, particularly for these last-minute gotcha efforts by states and local jurisdictions, we're kind of left open to real danger at having an election that's free and fair.
Indeed. Damon, final comment.
Well, look, what's not lost here, as you mentioned at the top, Roland, this was a 2-1 decision. The dissenting judge, although not as full-throated a dissent, but the dissenting judge was a George W. Bush appointee. That's what we're left to, folks. That's what we're left to in terms of who we have to convince on these federal courts. Now, we're a nonpartisan organization, so we'll argue any case, any time on the merits for black folks before these federal courts. That's what we do as lawyers and litigators, as Kareem knows and does well. But the politics have to sink in here, that if we don't care about the elections, then you're saying you don't care about the courts. And that's what you're essentially saying, you don't care about your voice and your power, because that's what it comes down to.
All right, gentlemen, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, folks, going to break. We come back, go to my panel. They've been waiting to talk. Ooh, Lord. You watching Roland Martin Unfiltered right here on the Black Star Network.
business or career with Grow with Google's wide range of online courses, digital training, and tools. Gain in-demand job skills with flexible online training programs designed to put you on the fast track to jobs in high-growth fields. No experience is necessary. Learn at your own pace. Complete the online certificate program on your own terms. Stand out to employers, get on a path to in-demand jobs, and connect with top employers who are currently hiring. Take one professional career certificate program or all 6. Earn a Google Career Certificate to prepare for a job in a high-growth field like data analytics, project management, UX design, cybersecurity, and more. All professional career certificate programs must be completed by December 31st, 2024. Scan the QR code to complete the application. There are 1,000 scholarships available. Grow with Google and J. Hood and Associates. Be job ready and qualify for in-demand jobs.
Next on the Black Table, with me, Greg Carr, working under the constant threat of violence. Nearly 50 bomb threats over dozens of HBCU campuses. In 2022, we'll talk to our HBCU Master Teacher Roundtable about the stress, the strain, the frustrating lack of answers, and real community-grounded solutions to the threat of violence we face at HBCUs today. Join us for the Black Table, only on the Black Star Network.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Devon Frank.
I'm Dr. Robin B., pharmacist and fitness coach, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, folks, my pound, Dr. Julianne Malveaux, economist, president emerita for Bennett College, joining me out of D.C. Dr. Amakongo Dibinga, senior professorial lecturer, School of International Service, American University out of Washington, D.C. Rebecca Carruthers, vice president, Fair Election Center, Washington, D.C. All right, so lots to talk about. Let me first start with Amakongo. Amakongo, what you just heard from Mark Fisher is some of the bullshit that I hear from a number of black men. A number of black men who fall for this nonsense with Trump. There are some black women who fall for the exact same thing. I had somebody who tweeted me and they were like, Roland, let the man talk. Y'all, I can't let somebody keep lying. Like, lie. I mean, again, see, here's the whole deal. And this is why I used to tell Malik Abdul, who's so scared he won't come back on the show, but he out there talking bullshit on Instagram that only 13 people looked at. This is what they like. They think that this is Fox News, where lies will be allowed to be told. If he said, if Mark came on here and said, I support Donald Trump because I believe in lower taxes, I believe in less government regulation, okay, you can keep talking. But what you're not gonna do is lie about the HBCU initiative that Congressman Alma Adams had to put back in the budget. What you're not gonna do is lie about the amount of money that HBCUs have gotten under Biden-Harris. What you're not gonna do is lie about the First Step Act. You're not just gonna lie and lie. You're not gonna lie about black unemployment. You're not gonna lie about black male unemployment. I simply am not going to allow lies to be told, and I will interrupt your ass in a heartbeat.
Oh, most definitely. And while I was watching, I was tweeting out the link telling people to, this is one of the reasons why many Trump supporters don't actually talk to real journalists, because real journalists will press them on the facts. And that's the challenge that I see in so many aspects of the media today, is that these guys, they practice the triple Ds, right? Deny, deflect, and dismiss. Deny the truth, deflect the truth, and then dismiss the truth, and just give themselves opportunities to have some type of talking points that they can use on a potentially viral clip that they'll send to their funders. And you did not give him that opportunity. Well, what part is he going to take and share with his followers about how he got Roland Martin tonight? It's not possible, because you were factual with them. And this is really problematic, because there are people, not only is he an embarrassment and a disgrace to Black Lives Matter and a disgrace to what we're doing as a community, but but it's also a disgrace to the climate that we live in tonight, today, where people feel like, well, I'm not going to say they feel, where their lies will give them a platform. And if they can show that they can be the loudest voice and the most loyal voice, there is a place for them in news articles and Fox News and One America News Network and all of those. But you bring yourself here to the Black Star Network, this is what you're going to get, which is why I don't think he's going to be back, which is why I can't wait for this clip to be up tomorrow, because it needs to be circulated widely on what real journalism looks like. And you have facts, you have institutional knowledge. And when you have a combination of that, they have nothing for you. And so everybody needs to see this. This was a masterclass in what journalism used to be and what real journalists should be doing. And the reason that we have part of our problems today is that most journalists on all of these networks do not do what you just did. They let people speak, let people make their talking points, and let them fundraise off of it and call it a day. And that's as much a part of the problem as so many other issues we're dealing with. So thank you, Roland.
And see, the thing here for me, Julian, is my producer was talking to him out there. I said, do you believe anything you said? He said, no.
What?
We got to shake this thing up. And see, so this is what you have out here. and I know a bunch of these fools with YouTube shows talk just like him. Because this is what they say. Man, we got to get off the plantation. First of all, if you believe that you are on a plantation, then you are saying you are a slave. I'm not on a plantation.
That's right.
I'm not enslaved, nor am I a sharecropper. So let's just get this straight. But the thing here is, you have these people who say, well, we got to shake up the Democrats, so we going to vote for Trump. I got some foundational Black American, one of them FBA fools, who just tweeted me, Roland, this ain't going to matter, Trump 2024. And I went, fool, there ain't nothing. See, these FBA fools are hardcore anti-immigration. But Trump, they hardcore anti-Black. So if y'all think Trump gonna do anything for you FBA fools, y'all got to be, let's see, y'all call yourselves foundational Black Americans. I'm gonna call you free bumpkins of America if y'all believe Trump doing anything for y'all.
Roland, I'm so glad you took a break because I was cracking up so much I had to adjust my makeup. Tears were rolling down my face. And you need to drug test people before they come on your show. Drug tests and mental health tests and everything else. That was one bloody fool. A total, I kept saying, WTF, WTF. Ask Carol, I was texting, tell Roland to get this fool off the air. But the fact is that he does represent a slice of Black America that is crazy. Well, let me roll back.
And white America.
Well, I don't care about white.
No, it's like the crazy Trump people who actually think he's still the president.
I know. Oh yeah, that part. When I got I got our list of topics. I called Dr. Melina Abdullah and said, "Who is this fool?" He says he's with Black Lives Matter. Well, the courts would not allow Black Lives Matter to copyright their name. So anybody can go anywhere and call themselves Black Lives Matter. She said they did not have a Rhode Island chapter. She said this is just basically you're free flying fool. And that's what he was. But you handled him properly, perfectly, appropriately. But I really was thinking that he was on something because his whole affect was odd. And at the same time, what we do know about all of this is that these people are not going anywhere. The poster you had on a couple of weeks ago said that 30% of Black men would vote for Trump today. I don't know if that poll is correct, but I know that there are a large swath of Black men and Black women who believe that the orange man is okay. And I don't understand how they can do that when you look at what's going on. When you look at the economic numbers. Yes, we do have inflation. He mentioned that. He threw that in. He had to pay $5 for some eggs. Okay. But inflation is coming down. And we know why we have inflation. So inflation is one issue that a lot of people are going to hang their hat on. Gas prices are coming down. They've been coming down consistently. So I don't even know, but they want to hold on to some old narrative. Black unemployment is still below 4%. We've never seen sustained Black unemployment below 4%. That was a Biden thing, a Biden-Harris thing, not a Trump thing. And we could go through every, the fact is that if people would simply read, simply pay attention, there is no contest between Biden and the Orange Man.
But Rebecca, here's the thing that we have to understand, that there are chaos agents. There are people who deliberately spread disinformation and misinformation. And when you allow lies to keep being repeated, what happens? Donald Trump did it. Donald Trump kept repeating lies, and these people kind of like, oh, must be true. Donald Trump was saying he signed a bill into law that Obama did. But if you keep repeating the lie, folks will then start repeating the lie for you.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of repeating lies, I do not think that he actually was a co-founder of Black Lives Matter Rhode Island. In fact, I so do not believe it. I actually just tweeted out and tagged you in it, Roland. I actually pulled up Rhode Island government to actually see, okay, whose names are actually on Black Lives Matter Rhode Island articles of incorporation. And I saw a Michael, I saw a Gary, and I saw Cheyenne listed. I did not see Mark Fisher listed in the 2020, I think it was August 2020 filings to file Black Lives Matter Rhode Island as a nonprofit in Rhode Island. So I think he's lying about that. I mean, speaking of lies, like it's pretty easy to go find out, his affiliation. And the only places where I saw him listed as a co-founder of Rhode Island Black Lives Matter is it came out of his mouth and then got printed over and over in subsequent newspapers. But I'm still looking to see, dude, are you actually a co-founder of Rhode Island Black Lives Matter? Because the documents say otherwise.
I'm going to tell folks right now, it's going to be a whole bunch of lying over the next 11 months. And if you allow lies to get repeated, especially at the Thanksgiving dinner table, then people are going to go there. So when y'all sit down to eat Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if anybody at your dinner table sounded like homeboy did, light that ass up. Light that ass up and hit them with nothing but turkey legs and facts. Folks, gotta go to a break. We come back, we're gonna talk to the co-captain with the Montgomery Brawl. Y'all remember that? I should have worn my hashtag team whip that ass shirt with the folding chair on it. So we'll talk to him next about being charges filed against him. Don't forget to support us in what we do, folks. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. Your dollars make it possible us to do what we do. Send your check and money order to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 20037-0196. Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal are Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. We'll be right back.
I'm Dee Barnes, and this week on The Frequency, we talk about school to prison pipeline, book bans, and representing for women's rights. The group Moms Rising handles all of this. So join me in this conversation with my guest, Monifa Bandelli.
This is white backlash. This is white fear that happens every time Black people in the United States help to walk the United States forward towards what is written on the paper.
Right here on The Frequency on the Black Star Network.
On the next Get Wealthy with me, Deborah Owens, have you ever had $1 million idea and wondered how to bring it to life? Well, it's all about turning problems into opportunities. On our next Get Wealthy, you'll learn of a woman who identified the overload bag syndrome, and now she's taking that money to the bank through global sales in major department stores.
And I was just struggling with 2 or 3 bags on the train. And I looked around on the train and I said, you know what? There are a lot of women that are carrying two or 3 bags.
That's right here on Get Wealthy, only on Black Star Network.
Hi,
I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
Hello, we're the Critter Fixers. I'm Dr. Bernard Hodges.
And I'm Dr. Terrence Ferguson.
And you're tuned in to
Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Folks, the Black Alabama Riverboat co-captain now facing charges after he was attacked on August 5th. We all remember seeing this video here of Damon Pickett tossing his hat in the air, and then it was on. He was charged with third-degree assault, becoming the sixth person charged in the brawl, which happened because a private pontoon boat was preventing the Harriet II riverboat from docking along the Montgomery riverfront. Pickett took a smaller boat to the dock to move the pontoon boat on his own before white boaters attacked him, prompting others to defend Pickett, causing a massive melee. Joining us from Montgomery is Damon Pickett. Damon, glad to have you on the show. Before I get to the charges, I got to ask you this. What the hell was the toss in the hat? What was like? Explain that. Is that like something you normally do? What was up with that?
It meant exactly what you thought it was. It's on. That's what it meant. Exactly what you thought it was. It's on. You can put your hands on me, and it's go time.
Had anything like that ever happened to you before?
No, sir. None whatsoever. It's the first.
And so Dylan, so they were angry that you moved the boat, and how long were y'all waiting trying to dock?
I said at least 20, 25 minutes.
So you got people on the Harriet II trying, because they were getting off, correct? Because you were turning back from being out in the water, right?
That's right.
And so y'all are sitting there, and these cats ain't moving, and they're moving. And I take it, were y'all hitting the horns? Were y'all trying to say, hey man, we need y'all to move? And they just like, yeah, no, we ain't moving.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. We was on our bullhorns and everything.
So when they came up to you, what was exchanged? What was said?
I was telling them this is the reason that they boat had to be moved, because if not, our boat was going to crash their boats.
And they responded?
Obscene gestures, threats, what they want to do to me. I'm like, well, it is what it is, but it's consequences for everything.
And obviously it was for them, one of you, and then when other folks saw you being attacked, y'all roll it, I saw you being attacked, then it was like Wakanda. Folk came to the rescue, and just walk us through that.
Yeah, it was just a whole lot of melee. Once they put their hand on me, I knew it was like, okay, I'm gonna have to fight now. But evidently I was outnumbered. But I'm still here by the grace of God.
Are you surprised at the reaction to this? I mean, we're showing here right now where you're trying to explain to the guy, look, you gotta move, you're trying to walk him through, and they just still yelling. He waves you off, he blows you off. And they don't care. Like they just want to argue with you, and you're like, I need y'all to move the boat.
Yeah, that's all I ask. That's all I ask. Y'all move y'all boat, and y'all can still have y'all boat sitting right here. Just let us park. And they will still threaten me, talk about what they gonna do to me. And I'll tell them, y'all put your hands on me, it's gonna be consequences.
So so are you surprised with these assault charges? Because again, I'm seeing several times you're being touched.
Yeah. And I'm like, how y'all gonna charge me for something that I do every day, just doing my job?
Were you shocked, surprised about the international reaction to this Montgomery Riverboat brawl?
I'm still surprised right now, shocked. It's getting so much attention. I'm getting a lot of support from people, and I'm just overwhelmed with a whole lot of blessings.
Questions from our panel. Rebecca, you first.
Well, first, Damien, you're a national hero, so salute to you. When you threw up that hat, everybody knew it was a hootie-hoo of everybody, come on in, we got to jump in. You know, I'm an attorney. I don't understand, well, as an attorney, I don't understand why you're being charged. As a Black person in this country, I know exactly why you're being charged. Do you have a legal defense fund that we could all donate to make sure that you're able to pay your attorneys to make sure that this charge goes away?
That's what I'm trying to get set up right now. Defense GoFund for me and some of my co-workers. So it's hard when you're trying to do stuff by yourself, you know. You got no lawyer.
You say you don't have a lawyer?
No, sir.
You don't have a lawyer?
No, sir.
Really? All right.
Trying to raise money.
So you got the higher lawyer. So no GoFundMe or anything has been. Because I know the brother who was arrested, who hit him over the head with a chair. A GoFund was set up for him, but nothing for you since the charge has been filed.
No, I'm setting up one tomorrow. So I have try to get some funds in there for getting me a good attorney.
Okay, all right. Omakongo, your question.
Well, thank you, Mr. Pickett, for just everything you've done and the grace that you served with everything. And as Rebecca said, you know, we all have your back, and we look forward to this GoFundMe so we can share that as well. We talked about a lot of the support you received. Has there been a lot of negative backlash from people who are, you know, out there on the Trump side of things? You know, do you have any fear for your safety as you've gone through this process?
Hey, Omakongo, hold on one second. Hey, Ben Crump.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm on the air right now with the brother who was the co-captain at the Montgomery brawl. You know they charged him, right?
Yeah.
So he doesn't have an attorney or anything. We're interviewing him right now. They don't even have a GoFund. We need to get this brother an attorney, Ben.
No, we'll definitely get him an attorney. If you want to put him on group text, I can't go and make the initial contact because that's solicitation.
Got it.
But if you want to text me and call me, we'll definitely, all kind of people will want to assist him.
All right, so you want me to send him your number and for him, and then he'll contact you.
Text me. Yep, he can just text me and we'll call him right away.
All right, I'll take care of that.
All right, Roland Martin.
All right, Ben, appreciate it.
Absolutely, sir.
All right, thanks a bunch. All right, Damon, you gonna have an attorney.
Okay.
That's how we roll here, Damon.
I take my spokesperson, Mr. John C. Burnett.
Huh?
Mr. Burnett, he's my spokesman.
Oh well, no, that's a spokesman. You need an attorney.
Yeah.
So Carol's gonna send me your number. I'm gonna give her. She gonna send you Ben Crump's number, and then as soon as you get done this interview, I want you to text Ben Crump, and then we'll get it started about getting you an attorney down there in Alabama. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right, Omakongo, ask your question again.
Best show ever. I was just asking, have there been any threats to your personal safety since this has all gone down? How are you dealing with any of that?
Well, there hasn't been any threats. There's a whole lot of reporters, you know, spending the night in the parking lot, popping up at my house, and I'm just trying to go to work, and I have to leave early just to avoid some of them, just to make it to work early and avoid some of these reporters. But no threats whatsoever.
Great.
Julian.
My brother, first of all, I appreciate you so much. I love that throw the hat up in the air, and I appreciate the fact that you basically were just doing your job. These people didn't want you to do it. But my question has to do with your job. Have there been any employment implications to what happened? Has you got a good job, your co-captain spoke up for you, but has anybody from the workplace perspective done anything that has been harmful to you?
Oh, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. None whatsoever. No harm been done for me, not from a workplace perspective anyway.
So your employer supports you and supports your actions?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Damon, are you full-time with them, or are you contract worker?
Yeah, I'm a contract worker.
I got you. You're a contract worker. So your job has not been impacted since this happened. You've continued to work.
I continue to work, yeah. I go to work faithfully every day.
Okay. What do you want to say to all the folks out there who have been wearing folding chair earrings, necklaces, shirts? The folk out there who said that date should be a national holiday. I mean, the reaction has been. I mean, look. I mean, the video. The show that I did, the video that I did. I think we're up to like 2.5 million views on that video as well. People stop me all the time talking about that particular show. So I mean, so what do you want to say to all those folks?
I love the support. Keep supporting me, and I'm gonna keep doing my job like I've been doing. Everybody just stay humble like me.
All right. Well, Damon, look. So right now, Carol's going to text you Ben Crump's number. You hit Ben, and then he got lots of folks. We'll make sure that you have some representation, some good representation there in Montgomery, Alabama.
Yeah, thank you. And I want to shout out John C. Burnett and Miss Melissa for helping me get to you and get to where I am today.
All right, Damien, we appreciate it, man. Good luck.
You too. Thank you.
All right, folks. Go to a break. See, that's why, y'all got to understand, that's why black-owned media matters, okay? So, brother said he needed an attorney. Ain't nothing but a phone call. So it's a whole bunch of people I could have called, so that wasn't no problem. He's going to get an attorney. And I'm telling y'all right now, so this is also why you need to come talk to black-owned media. I'm gonna tell you right now, CNN, ABC, and NBC would have never done that. So Rebecca over there snapping her fingers like she listening to Love Jones, their poetry jams or something. But again, they wouldn't do that on the mother networks. But when you own it, you get to set your own rules, and you ain't got to ask no permission. All right, y'all, going to a break. We'll be right back. Roland Martin Unfiltered right here on the Black Star Network.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us.
We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it.
This is about covering us.
Invest in black-owned media.
Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff.
So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.
I'm Faraji Muhammad, live from LA. And this is The Culture. The Culture is a two-way conversation. You and me. We talk about the stories, politics, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So join our community every day at 3 p.m. Eastern and let your voice be heard. Hey, we're all in this together. So let's talk about it and see what kind of trouble we can get into. It's The Culture, weekdays at 3, only on the Black Star Network.
Next on the Black Table with me, Greg Carr, working under the constant threat of violence. Nearly 50 bomb threats over dozens of HBCU campuses. In 2022, we'll talk to our HBCU Master Teacher Roundtable about the stress, the strain, the frustrating lack of answers, and real community-grounded solutions to the threat of violence we face at HBCUs today. Join us for the Black Table, only on the Black Star Network.
Hello, I'm Jamia Pugh. I am from Coatesville, Pennsylvania, just an hour right outside of Philadelphia.
My name is Jasmine Pugh. I'm also from Coatesville, Pennsylvania.
You are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered. Stay right here.
Folks at 11 Films, they've actually been putting together some great videos, showing us really what this election is all about. And so they dropped one today that I thought was really great. So I wanted to show it to y'all. Check it out.
Wake up alone with the fire in the hole. Got to get up before
The Supreme Court has overturned Roe v. Wade. They have eliminated the constitutional right to an abortion.
We're never getting rid of MAGA, don't worry.
Shit's about to hit the fan in this country.
MAGA is ascendant.
What do you want to be able to tell your kids and grandkids you did? You good with nothing?
You know what gets people out to vote? Emotion. It's not going to be enough. They've got these extreme positions. If we don't motivate our voters to understand what's at stake.
What are you going to do? I know what I'm going to do. Do I know what I'm going to do? gotta work together. We gotta unite. They don't care about you and me. I care about you and me. So what's up?
Hey everyone, it's your girl Robin. I know, I'm not usually political, but this, we have to do something. Nobody's gonna save us but us. So let me know what you think and let's make a plan.
Tomorrow's too late.
Stay safe, stay fly.
Know that there's a presidential election coming up in
I'm a concerned Trent.
But did you know all of this will be happening at the same time? Make sure
This isn't about partisanship. This is about democracy or no democracy.
One presidential candidate who's defending democracy, and another could take us down the road of Mussolini and Hitler and other dictators. You know, that's as stark as this is.
Thought I'd wake with a devil in my face.
Everyone needs to be on point for 2024. You think they're playing? They're not playing. They're coming. And we need to be ready. They have armies of disinformation actively right now. It's a machine. There are billions of dollars involved.
The Capitol riot made clear that MAGA is a cult.
This is the last free and fair election, unless we show up and show out. So what can you do? Get involved. Make content. Everyone can do it. You can do it. Be a voice. Start today, because tomorrow's too late.
Cut.
You know, Rebecca, I've been doing these posts on social media, talking about Civics 101 and some other places, and I've had some people going, "Oh man, you trying them scare tactics." I'm like, no, I'm not doing scare tactics. I'm literally telling you what is going to happen. Donald Trump and his minions are on record as saying they win, they're going to be firing thousands of governmental employees who do not align with their ideology. They are going to have a wholesale targeting of black people. What you're going to see is literally the targeting of black people that we saw the likes under President Woodrow Wilson, one of the most violent racists ever to be in the White House. These people are hell-bent on going after their enemies. They've made it clear. And so they will go after those of us in the media who have been calling them into account. There are people out here who could be playing games. No, these are not games. This is not, oh man, you just trying to sit here, you know, and trying to hype yourself for Biden Harris. No, do understand, those judges in the 8th Circuit, they want more people like that. Those 5th Circuit judges that are hardcore MAGA down there, they want more of those people. These people do not want to see black advancement. Don't even play games with this election, folks.
You know, I really enjoyed watching that content. It kind of reminds me almost like Awkward Black Girl. It looked like that was the inspiration behind some of it, especially with the talking and reflecting in the mirror. For those who don't know what Awkward Black Girl is, Issa Rae developed a YouTube series before her show got picked up on HBO and became Insecure. I think organic content of where everyday people are just talking about their experiences. I think that's what it's going to take in order for either candidate to win next year. It's not going to just be the typical push money on MSNBC or CNN or NBC or through like some of the traditional outlets, but it requires going to where people want to think and where they're looking for content. With some of the young people, the college students that I work with, they push so much civics information on TikTok because TikTok is the #1 search engine for people under 30 years old. And those are the people that we really need to get out to vote because they understand that they don't like what's going on in this country and they're willing to actually do something about it. We just have to get them from going, we just have to get them to go from just online activism to actually showing up to vote because it's going to be that important. And finally, every election cycle, we say, oh, this is the most important election of your life. What we need to say now is every single time there's an opportunity to vote, you need to vote because it's that important. We need to just call the thing a thing. Every single election is important in this country, especially going into 2024.
I mean, again, look, folks can sit here and, oh, yeah, you trying to do scare tactics. This is real, Julian. I don't think people understand what these people are saying. Trump is saying, I'm going to pardon every single January 6th person.
You know, Roland, these are not scare tactics. This, as you said, it's real. If you just did a grid, what Biden-Harris stands for, what Trump stands for, there is no contest. But what's frustrating, especially now with the Middle Eastern situation, is you got so many young people who basically they're so frustrated by the lack of a ceasefire, as an example, that they're prepared to either not vote at all or some vote for the orange man. And I had several conversations with young Palestinians in the past couple of weeks, and frankly, they don't get it. I understand how they feel about the ceasefire. I think we all do. I think a ceasefire would be very, very important. And President Biden, of course, he's ride or die Israel. And that's a problem. That is a problem. But at the same time, imagine if you think he's ride or die, look at what the orange man has done regarding the Middle East. And so basically, it's almost repugnant to think of someone choosing not to vote. But there's so many people who are so angry. People, the thing about younger folks, they are basically operating out of their feelings, not out of facts. And when I think about it, I mean, my first vote was in 1972. I was not in love with George McGovern, but he was the better candidate. I was not in love with John Kerry in 2004, but I didn't have to be. I wasn't going to be making out with him. I mean, basically, he was the better candidate. And so I wish I could get our young people to stop operating out of emotion and operate out of facts and say, this is the better candidate. No candidate is perfect. Democrats are not perfect. But this plantation crap, and that's what it is, it's crap. The people keep talking about we're on a plantation. No, like you said, you're not a slave, you're not enslaved, you're not about to be a slave.
Right.
That fool that you had on the air was on a plantation. And it was called the Trump plantation.
No, actually, he's from the mental hospital in Congo.
I think that when it comes down to it, man, it's sad because when I'm watching the news and everything now, I'm seeing these other media networks. They want Trump, they want the drama, they want the stories, they want the ratings, get more town halls and the like. And the challenge is that people who don't know because they haven't either lived in dictatorships or visited countries where there are dictators, or they haven't studied the history like we have, they don't understand what's fully coming. And so they don't really take it as serious as they should. As Washington Post has their motto, the democracy dies in darkness. It doesn't. It dies right in the light of day. It dies right in front of you. It dies with people who are sycophants, just like these Trump supporters and these Republican senators and Congress folks, just like with Hitler during the Holocaust and the like. It dies with people who are willing to turn the other cheek because they feel like they're going to stay comfortable in their particular space and no one's going to get to them. And we know that that's going to be wrong as well. Yep. And so we really have to have a real groundswell. Like when you've had, Black Voters Matters and different projects, that's what people need to see. And people need to reshare that content because like Rebecca was saying, when we have that one-to-one, and some of your other guests from prior weeks have said that one-to-one focus groups, contact, that's when people are actually going to get out there and be influenced, because the way the media is portraying Biden is too old and all of that. No one's going to get the message from a CNN or anything like that they should get out and vote for Biden. It's going to be one-on-one. And so the Fishers of the world who are out there trying to soil the pot, Donald Trump just needs to get a few people here and there to knock him off, because he's not trying to get 50+1. He's just trying to shrink Biden's base. And as of today, it's working, but I'm optimistic that with the continued push that we're having and other groups are having, that we're not going to let it happen. But if we sleep, it's a wrap.
And folks, remember, he won by 77,000 votes in 2016. Michigan, Pennsylvania, Arizona, 77,000 votes. That's what he won by. Gotta go to a break. We come back. NFL. They are launching a hip-hop series that sounds real familiar to a show that one of the brothers who's suing them actually launched himself. Jim Trotter joins us next right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Grow your business or career with Grow with Google's wide range of online courses, digital training, and tools. Gain in-demand job skills with flexible online training programs designed to put you on the fast track to jobs in high-growth fields. No experience is necessary. Learn at your own pace. Complete the online certificate program on your own terms. Stand out to employers, get on a path to in-demand jobs, and connect with top employers who are currently hiring. Take one professional career certificate program or all 6. Earn a Google Career Certificate to prepare for a job in a high-growth field like data analytics, project management, UX design, cybersecurity, and more. All professional career certificate programs must be completed by December 31st, 2024. Scan the QR code to complete the application. There are 1,000 scholarships available. Grow with Google and J. Hood and Associates. Be job ready and qualify for in-demand jobs.
Hello, I'm Marissa Mitchell, a news anchor at Fox 5 DC.
Hey, what's up? It's Tammy Roman, and you are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Now, I told y'all I'm always paying attention even while the show is live. Well, a few moments ago, a tweet came up, and I saw it. This is from Jim Trotter. He was with The Athletic, who was suing the NFL Network. He said, the NFL should be ashamed. We created the Huddle and Flow podcast on our own, but stopped doing it after management refused to share any revenue despite bringing in a 6-week sponsor for $250,000. Today, the league announced a content series playing off the name we created. And so the NFL and Universal Music Enterprises announced the content series called Football and Flow. And it's supposedly celebrating 50 years of hip hop. And so they plan on featuring Rakim, Hit Boy, and Ludacris. Joining us right now is Jim Trotter. Jim, boy, sounds real familiar to that highly successful podcast you and Sam Weiss were doing.
Yeah, the three of us, 3 Howard grads, came up with the idea for that podcast. And, you know, if you understand the story of this podcast, you'll understand why it's kind of a sensitive subject. So in 2018, Steve Weiss and I went to NFL Network Management and asked to do a podcast. And we wanted it to be Black-centric. We wanted it to be from our points of view, 2 Howard grads who view the league maybe a little bit differently than some others. We were never told no, but we were never told yes. And so the idea just died on a vine. Well, 2 years later, in the aftermath of the murder of George Floyd, the network comes back to us and says, oh, remember that podcast? Are you guys still interested in doing it? And so we knew what it was all about, but we felt there was an opportunity to do some greater good there and to talk about subjects that we wanted to deal with. So we said, yeah, we'll do it. I don't think they expected it to be successful because they came to us more than a few times and were asking, how are you guys getting these guests on your show? Because literally we did everything. We booked our own guests. We did our own research. We did the interviews. The only thing that the NFL did was take a link that we provided to them and post it on their website. So the podcast is doing really well. They come to us with 6 weeks left in the season and say, hey, there's a sponsor who wants to sponsor your show. Are you guys okay with it? And we said, well, who is it? They said, well, it's Intuit TurboTax. And I said, well, I'm unfamiliar with how all this works. Can you tell me what a sponsor pays? And they said, well, in this case, it's $250,000. So we were like, wow, you know, we're not being paid to do this podcast. It was something we took on in addition to our regular responsibilities. So we said, man, we should ask, you know, if we can get a little bit of the revenue of this.
Yeah.
So hang on, Roland, it gets better. So we...
Now, you know, I already know the story. Go ahead.
I know, but I know, but let me give it to the folks.
Go ahead.
So we go to the supervisor over the podcast and ask to set up a Zoom call so that we can talk to them about potentially getting a little bit of revenue. And I'm not even talking much here. I mean, just a little.
What,
so we get on this,
what, 10%? 25%?
Not even that.
Damn.
Not even that. I know. I should be slapped for that, but I'm speaking for me personally.
Okay.
I wasn't even thinking about all that. I'm just thinking about a little bit because, right, we're not being paid for this.
Right.
So we get on this Zoom call thinking that it is going to be with the supervisor of the podcast group. Unbeknownst to us, there are 5 other individuals on there, none of whom look like us, 2 of whom were the top 2 people at the NFL media group. And one of them is like, he's got a little bit of a red ass, like, we don't pay for podcasts. We're not paying you. You don't have any authority to go out and shop this show, yada, yada, yada. So I said to him, his name is David Jurinka. I said, David, first of all, I never said we were shopping this show or I was shopping the show. What I said to you was that people have come to us and asked us about getting our show on their platforms because they felt it could be successful in terms of generating revenue, and everyone, it's a win-win. And he told me, well, if people are interested in the show, have them talk to us, but you don't have the authority to go out and shop that. So I said, you know what? In my mind, fine, I ended it there. When we got off the call, I told Steve Weish and Thomas Warren both, I said, when these 6 weeks are up, I'm going to be a professional and finish this out. When they are up, I am done. I am not working for free for these folks, knowing they're bringing in this money. If you two want to continue, feel free, but I'm done. So when the 6 weeks were up, we stopped. The show ended. Subsequent to that, we find out a couple of weeks later that the NFL had cut a deal with iHeartRadio to sell all of its podcasts and put them on the iHeart platform and included our show's name in that press release, but it never told us about it. So that didn't leave a good taste. Now today, I get a message showing me this, where they have now created a content series called Football and Flow. And I'm just like, have you no shame? I mean, if you want to do the series, that's fine. But you're going to play off a name that we created, one that you never paid us for, and you're going to feel good about that? I'm sorry, Roland. I mean, it's almost comical. You know, if it weren't for the NFL having no shame in this, it would almost be comical.
See, again, and this is the thing that, I mean, a perfect example. 3 Howard graduates, 3 African Americans create something they had no interest in. All of a sudden, it takes off. Y'all are having these fantastic conversations, and then they're like, oh, we can get paid.
Yes.
And so they want to go out.
But not you.
Yeah.
We can get paid, but not you.
Right. So basically they wanted y'all to be sharecroppers.
Right.
Keep booking all these great guests. Keep doing all the work on your own time.
On our own time.
We going to make all the money, and damn y'all. And now they want to come back with 3 well-known folks in hip-hop. And do understand, I've already sent a text message to 6 different rappers. I used to have Rakim's number. I got Ludacris, some folks with him. I've already sent a text message said, yo, y'all need to have a conversation with this because you're participating in something that was created. So, and I told them we're discussing this, so hopefully they see this, because this is where, and again, I'm always talking about how we have to have black solidarity. This is where black folks have to say, oh, hold up. Y'all gonna do my man wrong, and you think you're gonna have me? Nah, we ain't participating.
Look, without getting ahead of myself, there is a project I'm working on that speaks to that point. And I'm with you 100% on that. This is just wrong. I mean, it's just shameful. Like I said, if you want to do this content series, I have no issue with that. Free to do that. Free country. But you're going to play off something we created because you're not creative enough or original enough to come up with your own show name? I mean, it just doesn't sit right. And the sad part is about this, Roland, when I talk about this hostile culture within the NFL towards blacks, in particular black men, this is part of what I am talking about, where we ask for a meeting with the head of the podcast group and are ambushed on a Zoom call with 5 other people, all white, including the 2 supervisors from the NFL media group. And one of them is you can tell a little bothered that we have come to them asking to share revenue in our own show. That's what we're dealing with here when I talk about that culture of hostility towards blacks. You want us to be seen, but not heard. You want to make money off of our labor, but you don't want to share it with us. I'm not okay with that.
Well, I saw the tweet. I said, Carol, get Jim on the phone. I wanted to, again, put this out there. And I can't wait to, like I say, I mean, there are about 8 prominent folks in rap music who I've hit. And I'm about to send out to about 6 others because, and I'm hopeful that Ludacris, Rakim, Hit Boy, one or all 3 will reach out, and then I want to connect because they need to hear this directly from you, because this is where, again, where I believe, just like the brother we just had on, who the co-captain of the Montgomery Brawl, Riverfront Brawl, he got hit with some charges. He don't have an attorney. Boom, I called Ben Crump, let's get this man an attorney. This is where black people have to say, I'm going to stand with that black person who was in their battle, and I'm not going to let them benefit off of my celebrity. And so I'm hopeful once they hear this, they will tell the NFL, take my name, nix this, because that's absolutely wrong.
I appreciate you, Roland.
Jim, appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
Always, my friend.
All right, folks, going to a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about our Fit, Live, Win segment, diabetes. Greatly impacts African Americans. What can we do about it? You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Hatred on the streets, a horrific scene, a white nationalist rally that descended into deadly violence.
White people are losing their damn minds.
An angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol.
We're about to see the rise of what I call white minority resistance. We have seen white folks in this country who simply cannot tolerate black folks voting.
I think what we're seeing is the inevitable result of violent denial.
This is part of American history. Every time that people of color have made progress, whether real or symbolic, there has been what Carol Anderson at Emory University calls white rage as a backlash.
This is the rise of the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. America, there's going to be more of this.
Here's all the Proud Boys, guys.
This country is getting increasingly racist in its behaviors and its attitudes because of the fear of white people.
The fear that they're taking our jobs, they're taking our resources, they're taking our women. This is white fear.
What's up? It's Sammy Roman.
Hey, it's John Murray, the executive producer of the new Sherry Shepherd Talk Show.
It's me, Sherry Shepherd, and you know what you're watching, Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, folks, African Americans have a greater risk of getting diabetes. It impacts us in a really significant way. More than 34 million Americans live with diabetes. Approximately 1 in 3 U.S. adults are at high risk of developing type 2 diabetes. African Americans, 60% more likely to do so. Chanticleer Carter Williams, she is someone who believes in speaking out about this. She no longer is taking medication for this, and she is no longer showing signs of type 2 diabetes. Glad to have you here. So we hear this, and I've seen these stories. People like, oh no, once you get it, you always have it, and you're gonna have to be on medication. And you say, not true.
No, not necessarily. So for me, I was at the brink of a health collapse when I was actually diagnosed. I had recently had a stroke and a heart attack, so that already was a wake-up call for me. And so desperately seeking out help and having a doctor that really advocated for me, she decided to put me on GLP-1 medicines because my A1C was 6.5%. And so already having a heart attack and stroke, my risks were already double, right? So they tell you that stage 2 diabetes or diabetes, stage 1 diabetes already puts you at risk for stroke and heart attack. But for me, I already been there. So being put on the medication, the GLP-1, which was Ozempic, which is really popular medication right now, I was able to lose 100 pounds, took a transformation, a whole transformation in my lifestyle. And now I'm here with an A1C of 5.3%.
You know, and, you know, first of all, you've got a bunch of people running around and using Ozempic as a diet drug, and it's actually preventing people who really, really, really need it from being able to access it.
Yeah, I understand. Now, I don't get in people's business why they choose to get on a particular medication, but I know that the medication worked for me. Like I said, I was severely obese, morbidly obese, stroke, heart attack, couldn't get any bariatric surgery. All of that was out the door. So the next thing with me, like I said, being pre-diabetic, now I'm at stage 2 diabetes. That was my only way out. And what we don't realize is that when we get at a certain age, weight loss, exercise, all those things, in combined with health conditions, make it a lot harder for us.
Questions? Let's see here. Makongo, you first.
Well, Ms. Carter-Williams, I really commend you on the success and what you're doing in terms of being on this journey. What do you say to people who feel like they are so hopeless in terms of they're stuck with this and may not, and you talked about some of the resources people may not have, but are there things that you would recommend in addition to the diet and exercise that people may not have a great deal of resources can start to do right now to kind of turn this direction? Because you just mentioned that so many people think they're just hopeless. Once you got it, it's a wrap.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought I was hopeless. You listen, you have a heart attack and a stroke, like what else can happen? And when my doctor told me that, hey, you are really on death row, if you don't get ahead of yourself with this, I really started advocating for myself. I started doing the research. I started, picking up health books, making sure that I eat right, researching my family history, and just making sure that not only do I hold myself accountable, I hold everybody around me accountable. My children, my husband, and make sure that we're eating right, we're exercising. And like I said, talking to our doctors. We also have to make sure that we talk to our doctors and hold our doctors accountable. I'm all about being the CEO of your health. So I consider doctors your worker bees. And so you pay them for a reason. You pay those co-pays for a reason. So talk to your doctor, talk about your concerns. As long as you're living, as long as you're breathing, it is not too late to get started.
Julian.
Data suggests that 5 million African Americans either have been diagnosed with diabetes or undiagnosed with diabetes. Part of the reason so many are undiagnosed is because we don't go to the doctor regularly. What do you do? What do you say to people who, especially brothers, or Black men are far less likely to go to the doctor than Black women are? What do you say to folks who don't go to the doctor because they're afraid, they don't want to know what's happening? Well, what do you say to them? I'm a comedian first, so I tell people, if you don't like going to the doctor, then you must like getting in. You don't have a problem stepping into a casket. You have to talk to people and really meet them where they are. I know a lot of people are. I hear all this, you don't know what you don't know. I'd rather just fall out and all this extra stuff. You just got to meet people where they are and talk to them about their health. I hold people accountable. I advocate. I talk about it on my TikTok page. I talk to people about it on my Instagram page, and just make people aware and that they can, speak up for themselves, and that they can, and that if they don't take care of themselves, then you're decreasing your life expectancy, and you want to be here. You want to be here, and you want to live longer. And in order to do that, you have to again be the CEO of your health.
Rebecca.
So first, thank you for being here tonight to talk about this. 13 years ago, my mom died prematurely from complications with diabetes. She was only 58 years old. She ended up developing end-stage renal failure, so she was on kidney dialysis. She lost her eyesight, and she was also an amputee because of diabetes. Unfortunately, she was in Nebraska. She didn't have a culturally competent healthcare team. So can you talk more about resources that those who might be at risk for diabetes or are actually pre-diabetic or have been diagnosed as diabetic? Can you talk about resources and the types of questions that they should be asking for and from their healthcare team? Like, talk more about what it means to be a CEO of your own health.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first, I'm not a doctor, so some of those questions I really can't answer. But as far as me, like I said, just being accountable, being able to research what's out there. There are a lot of nonprofit organizations out there. One of them, the National Black Heart Association, that actually goes into the community and meet people where they are, knock on doors, go to churches to make sure that people are holding themselves accountable. You don't know what you don't know. And even for me, I have to speak on not only being, diabetic and also being someone who battled with heart disease. We can't take just one opinion. If you're not okay with what your doctor's saying, find another doctor. I went 8 years misdiagnosed. So I know how hard that is. I know how hard it is as a woman of color, being a double minority, to talk to a doctor about what's going on with me. But I just say keep advocating, look at the resources that are online. Just talk to your doctor. It's really important to talk to your doctor. Know your risks, know your family risks. That's one start. I did not know that my family was, had diabetes, was at risk for diabetes. We didn't have those conversations. And I think as a community, we have to have those conversations. We have to sit down with our family members, with our friends, and find out what's going on with them. I remember going to the doctor and saying, the doctor's like, hey, risk for diabetes, nope. Risk for heart disease, nope. Is because I didn't know. And once I started having those conversations and opening up that dialogue and even talking about my symptoms online, people are like, well, I'm having these symptoms too. Let me go to the doctor. Let me ask more questions. I think it's just, like I said, you just have to meet people where they are, and you just have to be willing to advocate for yourself. Being a CEO of your body is advocating for yourself, taking total control of everything that's going on with you.
All right, then. Well, look, we appreciate your advocacy, and hopefully folks will take it to heart and be sure that they get checked.
Thank you, Roland. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks a bunch. Folks, we come back. A black man laid to rest properly in Mississippi by his family after he was hit and killed by an off-duty cop a few months ago. We'll show you that. Also, mourning the loss of a mega preacher who lost all of it when he said there was no hell. Bishop Carlton Pearson is now an ancestor. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
With me, Deborah Owens. Have you ever had $1 million idea and wondered how to bring it to life? Well, it's all about turning problems into opportunities. On our next Get Wealthy, you'll learn of a woman who identified the overload bag syndrome, and now she's taking that money to the bank through global sales in major department stores.
And I was just struggling with 2 or 3 bags on the train. And I looked around on the train and I said, you know what? There are a lot of women that are carrying two or 3 bags.
That's right here on Get Wealthy, only on Black Star Network.
I'm Dee Barnes, and this week on The Frequency, we talk about school to prison pipeline, book bans, and representing for women's rights. The group Moms Rising handles all of this. So join me in this conversation with my guest, Monifa Vandelli.
This is white backlash. This is white fear that happens every time Black people in the United States help to walk the United States forward towards what is written on the paper.
Right here on The Frequency on the Black Star Network.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kim Coles.
Hey, I'm Donnie Simpson.
Yo, it's your man Deion Cole from Blackish, and you watch
Roland Martin, Unfiltered.
Folks, today in Mississippi, a black man was properly laid to rest months after he was struck and killed by an off-duty cop in Jackson, Mississippi. They never told his family about it. Family members, loved ones of Dexter Wade attended the funeral for the 37-year-old man, again, fatally struck by an off-duty cop on March 5th. He was buried for more than 5 months before authorities notified the family. Reverend Alice Sharpton delivered the eulogy. Wade's mother, Betterstein Wade Robertson, accused the county and police of a cover-up after it took more than 5 months for her to be informed of her son's death, despite having reported him missing on March 14th to Jackson police, 9 days after she last heard him. Family attorney Ben Crump has continued to call for the U.S. Department of Justice to investigate the Jackson Police Department's handling of Wade's death. He was one of the biggest stars in the evangelical community. If you watched TBN in the 1980s and 90s, you saw Bishop Carlton Pearson everywhere. He built a megachurch there in Tulsa, Oklahoma, was always seen at various Oral Roberts events where he graduated from. He was personally selected by Oral Roberts as a leader. He created these Azusa conferences where people from all over the world attended those. All of that came crumbling down when he rejected the idea of hell and also supported gay rights. That led to him being defrocked. People simply call him a heretic. He was attacked left and right, and all of that came crumbling down, and actually it was the focus of a movie as well. Pearson passed away from cancer. He beat cancer 20 years ago. It came back quickly. Recently died in hospice care in Tulsa, surrounded by his family. He was just 70 years old. In 1981, he founded Higher Dimensions Family Church in Tulsa, later known as New Dimensions. Membership more than 6,000. Membership plummeted to a few hundred by 2008 after Pearson began teaching what he called the gospel of inclusion, a form of universalism that does not recognize hell. He survived by his mother, a son, a daughter, and his former wife. So many people have been, they've been outpouring, talking about, again, his passing, Bernice King, among others, Bishop T.D. Jakes. Bishop Jakes actually posted that it was, posted on social media that it was Pearson who invited him to Azusa. He was not well known by lots of folks. But by going to that conference, that's what allowed him to be able to build what eventually turned into Woman, Thou Art Loosed. And he talked about that. John P. Key last week posted about going to visit Bishop Carlton Pearson as he was transitioning. His family warned folks last week that he was nearing death. When I saw that story, called him as well, left him a voicemail. It was 2 years ago when we were in Tulsa for the 100th anniversary of the race riot there. Pearson was back in Tulsa, and we had an opportunity to chat with him. want to talk to someone, longtime pastor here, very well known in Tulsa, Bishop Carlton Pearson. Bishop, step right on over here. Glad to see you. How you doing?
Good to see you, man. I'm good.
Good to see you as
Thanks
well.
for coming.
Let's talk about this issue, what it means for this community. What does it mean in terms of this? Yes, commemoration. I want to call it a celebration. As someone who has spent years here in Tulsa.
Well, this is drama, what you see today. But what we're dealing with is trauma, PTSD. We've been traumatized as a culture. 100 years ago today, the buildings, we saw smoke and bloodied bodies. Over 300, we're still finding them unmarked graves. That same deadly negative spirit that kept it a secret for 100 years. It was a conspiracy of silence. How that could happen. I have relatives that moved away from Oklahoma when this thing happened in 1921, moved out to California where I was born. But that same deadly negative energy, we saw it on January 6th of domestic, white, angry, mob-minded, racist, many of them hiding behind their Bibles and in their churches in this city. This is the buckle of the Bible Belt. It should have happened here, but it's continuing in spirit. In so many ways, there's a lot of non-black people who love us, care, and who are with us. But that same undergirding, lying spirit is still alive, and we have to not only confront it, but combat it.
One of the things that we keep hearing from folks here, and that is they want to ensure that the people here are getting the economic compensation that they say they deserve. This was an area that was black-owned. There were black restaurants. There were black hotels. There were numerous black businesses. There were all types of homes, fine homes here as well. And so here you have the city building a museum. They're going to open it, a $20 million facility, $30 million facility on Wednesday. And what you're still dealing with is the fact that Tulsa and the state of Oklahoma still refuses to provide resources, direct resources to the descendants and the survivors. And I keep saying the federal government set up billions of dollars for a 9/11 victim compensation fund.
Yeah.
Nothing for the people here, and you have actual survivors who are still with us.
Alive, yes. Well, they did something for the Japanese. They did something for the Native Americans. They've ignored African Americans. Just the insurance. Most of these buildings were insured.
The insurance companies refused to pay.
They refused. You don't just repay, you repair and you replace. Everybody's only thinking about money. We need to build this whole street back up with black-owned.
Again, you can see that on our YouTube channel. Last week, Bishop Carlton Pearson posted this message on YouTube, which he said to his followers would be his final word.
To my beloved weekly streaming consciousness friends, fans, partners, whatever, followers, I love you. I cherish you. I respect you, honor you, have needed you all along to be the audience to let me sound off on. I've done a lot of thinking out loud, and you've eavesdropped on a lot of it. But I knew you were there, and I appreciate it very, very much. Thank you for all your giving, all your loving, all your generosity, all of your expressions of concern, care, compassion, sometimes sympathy. It's all been there. And you've all inaugurated it on your own. So this will be probably one of the last times you'll see me like this, as I may be closing some things out. But I'll never close you out in consciousness. I'll never stop thinking of who you are and why you are and how somehow we were divinely drawn together in this divine intersection of lives. But I feel you, and I hope you feel me, even when I'm in heaven or on the other side or the other iteration. I'll be thinking of you. I'll be thinking of you, thinking of you. That's an old Andre Crouch song. And I think he meant it from his heart, and I know I meant it from mine. Mean it from mine. So stay faithful, stay focused, stay committed. Keep looking up and looking out. And my mom, dad says, stay prayerful and stay prayerful. What do they say? Say, be careful and prayerful is what they used to say. They still say, Mama says, and she was here tonight, here in my hospice room. Stay prayerful and stay careful. And the Lord bless you and the Lord be with you. It's been great talking to you. Some of you have been here the whole 15 years or so since Chicago, since I started going on to Chicago. Others of you were new and you're going to go, oh. But there's a lot of tremendous men and women that I've encountered who are going to be speaking on this program. Malachi will be hosting some of them, carrying on the work, bringing in more exciting things. And we'll grow. We got to grow. We got to keep on growing because that's what we're called to do. All right. I'm a little exhausted, but know that I love you and wanted you to hear from my own voice how deeply appreciative I am of who you are and that you are. Peace and blessing.
Julian, he lost a whole lot. I mean, if people, I don't think people really understand how huge Bishop Carlton Pearson was in the evangelical world, a constant presence on TBN. But when he talked about the gospel of inclusion, everything went tumbling down.
Well, people are afraid of inclusion, Roland. As you know, we see it right here in this country. We've talked about, we've talked about the election and what's going on with the election. And so people are afraid of inclusion. They prefer to have their own little silos. The other thing that people are afraid of, he basically said there was no hell. Well, hell is a religious concept that tries to keep people in line. And a lot of people are not trying to be in line. And I think that was quite revolutionary for him to say that he didn't believe in hell. So this was a revolutionary theologian who basically, as you say, lost a lot because he had the courage to put his beliefs out there.
Rebecca, there were friends, there were other preachers. He wasn't invited into pulpits. If you want to talk about a scarlet letter, he was completely ostracized by the evangelical community. And there were a lot of white evangelicals who really rallied around him, but black preachers as well, places he just could no longer go to.
So I've shared this before with your audience. I was fourth generation Kojic. Kojic is Church of God in Christ. It is one of the denominations that was founded and came out of the early 1900 Azusa Street revival that lasted here out in Los Angeles for a couple of years. So, I'm very familiar with the bishop. May he transition well with the ancestors. I'm glad he's at rest. But yeah, there are a lot of people who fell out with him because they just couldn't fathom that he was questioning parts of theology that for some folks are still under some debate. So I'm glad that he was able to talk in his own words and that he had dignity in how he said his goodbye. So may he rest well with the ancestors.
He later joined a church in Houston, in Chicago, Dr. Johnny Coleman Omokongo, and he was as a minister there. And again, they said he was a heretic. That was a literal 1-year review where he had to go before the Pentecostal bishops and defend his position, and they declared his thoughts and ideas to be absolutely dangerous.
And how easy would it have been to just say whatever the people, wanted him to say? Dr. King said, I'd rather see a good sermon than hear one. And he lived it. And not only did he, get penalized for his belief as it relates to, not believing in hell, but as you mentioned earlier, his support of the LGBTQ community and being ahead of his time. And that really comes down to it is like, how much do you really want to stand on your convictions? How much are you really willing to lose? And so as he's laid to rest, as a mother has to, lay her child to rest, we have to look at this man in his totality because he wanted everybody to be looked at in their totality as well. And so I'm really glad that this whole show has been a tribute to what the power of Black media could be, to tell the stories the way it needed to be told, without 30-second clips here and there. And he deserved the time that you gave him tonight. And so I applaud him for his convictions, his willingness to be able to stand up when everybody was trying to tear him down. Some people who are catching up with him now, particularly as it relates to some of their support for LGBTQ community, not enough within the evangelical community, of course, for reasons we know why. But he stood strong, and we're going to continue to stand and lift him up because we stand on his shoulders.
You heard me say, folks, that Chiwetel Ejiofor played him in a movie. The movie was called Come Sunday. It was on Netflix. I'm want to pull it up. Do you have it there, folks? Let me see. Give me just 1 second. I had it up for a second. I want to pull it back up. And like I say, his story was told. In this movie. And as I said, Chiwetel Ejiofor played Bishop Carlton Pearson. So check this out.
This I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to him belong. They are weak, but he is strong.
You were called, Carlton. I still believe that.
The world needs to get saved. Lift them up and say hallelujah. Say, I'm a soldier.
My comfort and my joy is knowing that you're here to lead the way.
I believe. Half the people I grew up with are all going in the wrong direction. Do you believe God spoke to me?
What does it matter what anyone thinks?
Matters to me.
No more pain and no more shame and misery. People have been saying that I stopped believing in hell.
I heard a voice say,
everyone's already saved.
No, you can't just rewrite the Bible.
I'm not rewriting anything, I'm just rereading it.
You speak the word of God in this church.
That God loves us all!
why didn't you call me? You owe me that much.
Seriously, son, you need to consider everything you're putting at risk, and not just for yourself.
You don't need to be saved.
You don't know that. You can't know that.
You want proof it wasn't God's voice you heard? Half our congregation walking out, that was it.
Either you're with me or you're not.
You come in there telling us we all wrong and you all right.
It's false doctrine you're preaching.
Are you certain it was God's voice you heard?
I've never been more sure of anything in my life. And I'm not backing down.
Bishop Carlton Pearson, folks, an ancestor at the age of 70, also yesterday. Former First Lady Rosalynn Carter passed away at the family home in Plains, Georgia. She had entered into hospice care late last week. Of course, President Jimmy Carter, former President Jimmy Carter, he's been in hospice care almost a year. They were married 77 years. Of course, she was a huge fighter on behalf of mental health. That was one of the issues that she advocated for. Again, she was 96 years old. A lot of folks often overlook, Julian, the importance of First Ladies, but when you look at the emphasis on mental health with her, you look at Betty Ford when it came to substance abuse. I mean, we're talking about two of the biggest issues that we still deal with in this country that were actually led and pushed by First Ladies.
And I think that Rosalynn Carter basically redefined the role of First Lady. She basically laid it out for folks like, frankly, Hillary and Michelle Obama in terms of transcending, the garden party type thing that Jackie Kennedy did or Lady Bird Johnson. She really basically grappled with substance, which is really important. She will absolutely be missed. And of course, you have to think about President Carter, because the two of them were together for so long. This may be the longest, this may be the longest time he's going to be alone for a while, just alone with his beloved wife not at his side. But she was quite a lady. I worked at the White House during the Carter administration, the Council of Economic Advisors as a junior staff member. And I remember meeting her on many occasions. One of the things about her that was so cool, she would occasionally come through the old executive office building and just walk through and say hi to people. It was just a gracious touch, but she was a gracious lady.
Rebecca.
I mean, Dr. J just summed it up, especially with having those personal experiences. But yes, Mrs. Carter definitely redefined what it meant to be First Lady. I definitely celebrate her advocacy with mental health issues. We all have people in our family, if not ourselves, who are dealing with mental health issues in its various forms. So I appreciate that was elevated. And, may she also rest in peace.
Congo.
We're talking about another person who was ahead of their time. I mean, they were 77 years. She was 18 and he was 21 when they were together. And, they've been partners. When you look at their foundations, both their names are there together. She was an advisor, not just, like a bedroom advisor. We're talking like in cabinet meetings. I mean, so from everything from the humanitarian side to the being a revolutionary as it relates to pioneering mental health when enough people were not talking about it, and just really making sure that she was someone who was going to be looked at for her service, for her caring for the community, but also someone who was going to be respected for her political mind, dealing with all of the sexism that came with that. She was a pioneer in many ways. And I really hope that after all of the tributes are done, that people actually take a real look at what she did and what she accomplished. Because like Dr. Malvo said, she revolutionized what it meant to be First Lady. And I think many people are thankful for that. So definitely praying that she rests in peace as well.
Absolutely. The Carter Center actually put out a video that was titled The First Lady of Mental Health. And so I want to share that. So go to my iPad. Not sure why we're not getting sound here. But as you see, there were a number of people who will be quoting this video. We'll try to get it to play. Again, not sure why we're not getting sound, but we'll try to have that for you tomorrow's show. Folks, that is it for us. Congo, Rebecca, Julian, appreciate y'all being on today's show. Thank you so very much. Folks, if you want to support us in what we do, please do so. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. Your contributions are critically important for the work that we do. So send your check and money order to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal are Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Of course, be sure to download our Black Star Network app. Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. You can watch our 24-hour streaming news channel. Of course, we're on 4 platforms, including Amazon News. You just go to Amazon Fire and check out Amazon News. Tell Alexa to play news from the Black Star Network. You can also check us out on Plex TV. Just go to Live TV, see us on the news and opinion. Go to Amazon Freevee. And if you go to Prime Video, Amazon Prime Video, we're on their live news grid with all the other news channels as well. So you can check us out there. And be sure to get a copy of my book, White Fear, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Minds. Folks, that's it. I'll see you tomorrow right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Holla! Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches. I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?